Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Thank God WrestleMania is in the rear view. We can put that piece of garbage behind us, but unfortunately, we have to turn our attention to the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view. As a match, I love Money in the Bank. As a gimmick pay-per-view that comes after WrestleMania, not so much, especially here and now in 2020 with the way things have turned out for everybody. So the WWE is going to disregard the advice of the CDC, and they're going to go ahead with business as usual. They're going to continue putting on live shows, and it all began, I guess, tonight. Or maybe tonight was their last pre-tape show. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw tried to do some interesting things. They tried to do some of the right things, but turned out doing everything wrong as usual. We're going to talk about it all right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review, only on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
I hope you guys are all staying home, staying clean, staying safe if you can, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I go through a whole entire work day dealing with the public, getting all crazy, going on with business as usual as if there's not this big impending doom that's outside. And we can't ignore it, but the WWE can. And they're going to pretend nothing's happening. They're going to just keep going now to the Performance Center. They're going to continue to produce Monday Night Raw. They are adhering to the guidelines of the state of Florida. And as far as I know, the state of Florida put everything on a complete and total lockdown. So obviously there are some backroom dealings going on between Vinnie Mac and the state of Florida. He's going to have his way. He's going to have his cake and eat it too. I'm sure there's some promises being made for some things down the line when the world goes back to normal in order for the WWE to pull this little stint off. He had the governor pretty much pardon the WWE, had them deemed as an essential service, and that's fine. I really could care less one way or the other how they got to be on TV tonight. I just think it's mildly irresponsible of the man to expect his employees to be traveling in the way that the world finds itself right now, with everybody having to travel on airplanes and going, past complete strangers, and how hard is it going to be for them to remain unrecognized to the few people that are outside in the world not adhering to what they should be doing, as so many people here in New York just seem to not really give a shit. And I don't know whether or not that's true, but it just seems like nobody's taking things seriously, and you can throw Vince McMahon right at the top of that list. I just feel like it's irresponsible. I feel like he's not doing right by his employees. Instead of taking a solid, maybe just a week or two at least, take off. Reassess situations. I don't want to hear about contracts with Fox or USA. This is unprecedented circumstances that I'm sure those contracts could be, wouldn't be able to be used against Vince McMahon. If the government is telling you not to do something, it's certainly not Vince McMahon's fault that he's not allowed to produce these shows. So there would have to be some sort of a loophole or some sort of a way around that for him, but that's really neither here nor there. We're going to talk about the state of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, regardless how it came to be, and I just don't understand how they can actually go about doing some of the things that they did tonight, taking some of the right steps, but taking those steps on the wrong feet and leading with the left instead of the right, when obviously you should be going towards this certain direction. I appreciate the fact that they decided to have qualifying matches this year for the Money in the Bank ladder matches that are going on in just about a month or so. I don't appreciate the fact that we got 3 qualifying matches in one night, all for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and I don't care that it was all the women. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that we have over a month to go before Money in the Bank. And you couldn't have spread this out a little bit. You got to throw all of it out there all at once. And then next week, you're going to do all 3 men's matches in the same night. And now what are you going to do for the next 4 weeks? What, are we just going to keep seeing all these people in matches against each other warming up for the Money in the Bank? And we're not even getting started on the choices in the matches tonight or the winners that were involved, because the winners and losers so far, after tonight is concerned, has just got me laughing my ass off at the women's Money in the Bank selections so far. And we will go over that in just a minute, because tonight's Monday Night Raw, when it wasn't talking about Money in the Bank, it was all pretty much about Zelina Vega and her new stable, featuring Austin Theory, featuring Andrade, the United States champion, and of course, Angel Garza. So I like this pairing, or, team up. Seems like she's finally getting a faction, and she's not just going to be pigeonholed with just Andrade. And I don't mind it, but again, they took steps in the right direction. But why they had to have multiple segments that were pretty much the exact same thing on the same night, I don't know. Tonight you could have had Garza go out there and have his match and win, and then you could have had Andrade and the other guy come out and beat down the opponent after the match. And that would have been fine to put over the stable, right? But now you should have did the other match next week. You have Andrade go out there and beat up some guy. Andrade gets the win, and then they jump him after the match. And then the following week, you go with the other one. And you extend it. You tell the story 1 week after the other. Progression. Progression is key. You don't just throw it all out there in one night. And they're doing the same thing there that they're doing with Money in the Bank. And then we're going to have 3 weeks of TV for them to do absolutely nothing. And it's going to just be boring. Instead of trying to give us a reason to tune in and hook us with just a little bit. Give us 1 women's match tonight. 1 men's match tonight. 1 segment for the Zelina Vega thing. 1 segment for Seth Rollins. Not 3 stupid little segments where we could see him standing in his ridiculous man bun, speaking all of this weird, religious type proverb kind of shit that I don't even understand what he's trying to say. Maybe he's trying to convince himself that he's still cool, even though he's not, with his little furry collar and his stupid little man bun. And I don't care. I don't care. Seth Rollins looked like a nerd all night long, and then he wants to come out and establish himself as the new #1 contender for Drew McIntyre by stomping his face into the ground to end Monday Night Raw tonight. And while I was looking forward to seeing who was going to be the next person in line for Drew McIntyre on the Monday Night Raw side, I certainly was not thinking it was going to be the man that lost at WrestleMania and has done nothing since then but walk around beating up jobbers and crying about it. So this is what's going to get Seth Rollins a world championship opportunity. He attacked the champion, because that's how you get championships now. And some people are going to say, oh, well, it should be Kevin Owens. No, it shouldn't be Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is not a heel right now. Sure, he's kind of in the middle, and maybe they could get away with it because there's a little bit of gray area with the way he comes across with his character. But now's not the time to see a Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens. They actually gave you the perfect opponent for Drew McIntyre's first title defense tonight on Raw. For no reason, Andrade, as the United States champion, definitely has more reason than most people on the roster to assume that he's next in line for a shot at Drew. He also has the fact that he has beaten Drew McIntyre in NXT for championship gold before underneath his belt. All of those things make sense for them to make Andrade be the first program for Drew McIntyre to build towards. Maybe have that matchup at Money in the Bank. Champion versus champion. Make it title for title. Give Drew both championships. Continue to put him over the moon. It would be fine with me. I wouldn't care at all. It's not like Andrade's doing anything special with the United States Championship anyway. Then Drew McIntyre can surrender the U.S. title, put it up in a tournament, and you can end up giving it to Austin Theory or somebody else. Who cares? Who cares who it goes to? Let's just do it that way. It would be a much better way to go about things than giving it to Seth Rollins. Follow me. Don't worry. My reign was crucified, but I'm gonna stomp it all out tonight, 'cause I'm Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Man Bun. Nobody gave a shit about any of that, trust me. And it's not doing anything to make me interested in Drew McIntyre's first championship title run. If anything, it's doing the exact opposite. And without his running buddies in tow, there's no way to tell a fun story here. He's not going to continually get the advantage due to outside interference from Buddy Murphy or from one of the authors of PP or whatever it is they would come up with. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you happy about Seth Rollins inserting himself into the World Championship picture? Because I certainly am not. And as far as the rest of the show is concerned, my God, there were some good matches tonight, actually. There was a great tag team matchup between the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders and the taming of Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. This was a great tag team match. The problem is that Ricochet and Cedric were kind of on the way up, I would think. They just kind of put them together. They've been putting them out there. And tonight's matchup was so good that even though they lost, they definitely got themselves over. But I don't like the decision of putting them against the Viking Raiders so soon and having them lose so soon. So, I just feel like no matter what Ricochet and Cedric do, there's nothing they're going to be able to do to break through the ceiling. I love the fact that they came out dressed like a tag team. Seems like they're going to embrace being a tag team, and I think it's fantastic. But I just don't like the choice of seeing them lose so quickly and so often already. You got to take your booking more seriously. Would have been better to see them versus maybe Garza and Andrade. I keep saying Andrade, and I keep meaning Austin Theory. And I don't know why I keep forgetting and mixing that up. But whatever, that would have been better. Austin Theory involved in the tag team championship picture. That's where they were going with WrestleMania. He took over for Andrade, so leave him there. Make them the tag team. Put them in a matchup with Cedric and Ricochet, and I think that would have been better than seeing the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders tonight squashing in a good match. It wasn't essentially a squash matchup, but at the end of the day, it's seeing Ricochet and Cedric lose again. How seriously can you take it? It's the tag team division, so do we really care anyway? I was hoping they were going to inject some life, and it seems like they have done that, and it was a good matchup, and I did enjoy it. I also enjoyed, oddly enough, Alistair Black's match tonight with Oney Lorcan. I thought was a great match for both men. Oney Lorcan looked pretty good. He didn't take up too much time. Alistair Black made him look like somebody you might want to keep your eye on. But at the end of the day, this was just another victory for Alistair Black en route to Money in the Bank. He's going to have a Money in the Bank qualifier next week in a matchup that I think nobody was expecting to see him in. And I think it's going to maybe be a match that steals the show next week, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's talk about the entirety of the show. One thing that I also enjoyed before we really get into it was Akira Tozawa in his matchup tonight with Austin Theory. I thought was a great matchup. This match went almost 7 minutes, and both of these guys looked great. But the one moment that stands out that kind of overshadows it was Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry the King Lawler referenced a move that Akira Tozawa did. He did a moonsault to the outside, which is absolutely insane, and he connected and took out Austin Theory. And Jerry the King Lawler called it the ramen noodle moonsault, showing you just how outdated, how unnecessary he is on that comment table. Who needs Jerry the King Lawler around with these dated-ass references? That was borderline racism. Why would you call that the ramen noodle moonsault? It was just a regular moonsault. Why? Because he's Oriental? Because he's Asian? You're going to call it? Why? Why? There's no other reason than that. Anybody else hits that same thing, it's just a regular moonsault. But because the guy is of Asian descent, it's a ramen noodle moonsault. And we're not supposed to call him out on that? Ruining what was a pretty good match up until that point. But it was predictable. You knew Tozawa wasn't going to beat Austin Theory. And the only thing wrong with that particular segment was that they just repeated the same thing eventually later on in the night. And I don't like being shown the same thing twice. So let's talk a little bit about the women's Money in the Bank selections, which is kind of what kicked off the show wrestling-wise. Asuka defeats Ruby Riot to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match. These girls were given a nice chunk of time, and I was alright with it. What I'm not alright with was Ruby Riot shouldn't be fighting Asuka to be getting in this match. Ruby Riot should be in this Money in the Bank ladder match. Hands down, Ruby Riot should be in this Money in the Bank ladder match. She's come back. She's not really been allowed to do much, and I think it would have been good to put her in there. So why not have Ruby Riot versus Sarah Logan tonight? But no, we get to see Shayna Baszler versus Sarah Logan for some strange reason, and that's a whole nother shit show we're going to talk about in a second. But Asuka and Ruby really beat the snot out of each other here, and I appreciated the effort from both women, and I'm not mad that Asuka won. In fact, I think Asuka should have been in the Money in the Bank. I think Kyrie Sane should be in the Money in the Bank. And I think Ruby Riot should also be in the Money in the Bank. But instead, we get the typical WWE swerves on us the other way. See, we all know Shayna Baszler was going to end up in this match. But the way they went about booking her matchup with Sarah Logan makes Sarah Logan look like a complete tool. Makes her look like she has zero value and is completely useless. Here's a girl that's been trying to show the world that she's tough as nails and that she should be taken seriously, and she goes out there and gets punked out by Shayna Baszler, who did little to no offense and just stomped her elbow, broke her arm. So the referee stops the match. The commentary team fucks up the whole call at the end, and they start to make the assumption that Baszler's been disqualified, so that means that that what's her name, the country bumpkin there, that she's Sarah Logan, she's gonna go on. What? That's not what happened. The referee deemed that Sarah Logan was unable to continue, which gives the victory to Shayna Baszler. It was clear as day, but they messed that up, and they had to make sure to correct themselves when they came back from commercial, and, oh no, it was definitely this. We didn't make a mistake. It was this, and this is what we meant to say, and that's what we... Stupid shit. But Asuka and Ruby was fine, and Asuka wins, so I wanted so badly for Kyrie Sane to win. But they put Kyrie Sane in the ring tonight with Nya Jax. And now it's time to bring out the poop hammer. That's right. It's big. It's beautiful. And we're not talking about Nia Jax. We're talking about that poop hammer right there. Because, my God, man. First of all, the matchup, Kyrie Sane versus Nia Jax, was god-awful. Nia Jax cannot wrestle. She can't. Maybe she still got rust. I mean, she was never fully polished to begin with, and now she's overly rusty from being gone. I don't know what it is, but the girl was not good. Her timing was off. She botched multiple times. And whoever put this match together obviously doesn't give a shit or have any respect for Kyrie Sane, and that's a sin to me. I can't even deal with that. All I wanted was to have Asuka and Kyrie both be in the Money in the Bank. So that A, we could see Kyrie Sane drop an insane elbow from the top of a ladder, which would have been an amazing sight to see, no matter who she dropped it on. And B, to start a little beef between the two kabooks. Alright, the little Kabuki Warrior sisters should have started some beef at Money in the Bank. Not saying it should have came down to the two of them, but at some point they are going to cross paths. They have no choice. And it would have been a great thing to tease for all of us watching at home. Would have been fantastic to start that program. Break up the Kabuki Warriors. Start Asuka versus Kyrie and let us see some women's wrestling that can actually, entertain us and might be meaningful and, exciting. But no. Instead of that, Nia Jax wins this match in very underwhelming fashion. And I couldn't stand any of it. It just pissed me off. It ticked off too many wrongs. Because, first of all, what has Nia Jax done to deserve a championship opportunity? Even the opportunity to get into the Money in the Bank. What has she done? Has she won a match against anybody that matters? We've seen her squash one person since she's been back, and who cares? Certainly not this guy. I mean, even Sarah Logan has done more than Nia Jax at this point, and she's done jack shit as well. So she doesn't deserve an opportunity here. I don't understand. The choices they made for the men's side are just as bad. It's uberly predictable. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. But man, how could they fail so badly? Nia Jax has no business being anywhere near a Money in the Bank ladder match. You want to talk about dangerous workers. You want to talk about it. I mean, Nia Jax is probably right at the top of that list. This is the girl that broke Becky Lynch's face in half. You gonna let her in there with ladders and shit swinging around? Girl's half her size. Everybody's half her size in the women's division in the WWE. And you would have thought that maybe they would book Kyrie Sane and Nia Jax in more of the, Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong light, where both women come out shining like chrome. But both of these women just come out looking like clowns. Come out looking like shit. Which is why that segment, more than any others, gets hit with the poop hammer on this night. And the Shayna Baszler thing, I don't understand why they have to book her with these stupid angles. Like, do what they did to bring her to the dance. Like, you need to overbook her. She should have went out there and beat Sarah Logan's ass. Got the clean victory, made her tap out. None of these ridiculous, I'm really angry shenanigans. It didn't do anything. I would have much preferred to see a match there. 52 seconds. This says. Unbelievable. So ridiculous. So let's go up and down the card. This way we don't get lost again. Because, I'm a little bit all over the place tonight. And I don't know why I'm this way. Maybe it's because I have a little bit of a headache. And maybe it's because everything's so damn stressful. And I'm so sure you guys are going through it as well. Watching these shows is like... It's almost like poison. Because there's some cool stuff going on. But it sucks still. It's just... They couldn't put on a good show in front of a live crowd when everything was okay. So I don't know why we're expecting it to be any better now. It's only going to be infinitely worse, and we better buckle in because it's going to be like this for quite some time. And the train, as we said at the top of the show, doesn't stop rolling when Vince McMahon is in the driver's seat. So we started the show with Drew McIntyre coming out, only to be confronted by Zelina Vega and Andrade so that they could make the match at the end of the night, which would be the main event, champion versus champion, but no titles on the line. And that was fine. I don't mind them going at it. What I mind is the way they went about it and how it ended up. And we'll talk about that at the end of this segment. Osku, as we said, defeated Ruby Riot. We go down the list. Alistair Black defeats Oney Lorcan in a 10-minute long matchup that made Oney Lorcan look like, hey, maybe we should bring this guy up a little bit more often, huh? Is he officially part of the Monday Night Raw roster? Are they continuing call-ups, or are they just sacrificing people here? But this was a damn good match, and I really did enjoy it. We had a promo from Becky Lynch where she said some interesting things. All of the reasons we, as fans, have criticized her over the last couple of weeks, apparently she was doing that all on purpose. She made it sound as if all of the ridiculous dressing up in the king's crown and the big fur coat and being a big clown for all those weeks was all a ruse to get the better of Shayna Baszler, to make Baszler think that she had Becky's number, only for Becky to strike even harder than Baszler thought she was capable of. And while that might be an interesting story, I certainly don't think that was the intended case. I think they're trying to take something that the fans criticize and turn it into something that actually kind of works. And I didn't think it was bad. I just think It's a little bit convenient. Oh, yeah, I meant to do that, by the way. You guys thought that sucked and that I was being a jerk-off? Well, yeah, I did that on purpose. Wink, wink. I don't know whether to believe it or not. But Lynch said the only person that can get close enough to the Queen to destroy her would be the Joker, so she acted like a clown, posing no threat, only to end up beating her in the end. Becky Lynch wants to challenge whoever wanted a shot most, and the man will be waiting for whoever wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she would shock the world again. We'll see what happens. Shayna Baszler defeats Sarah Logan via referee stoppage to qualify for the Money in the Bank in less than a minute, which was a waste of everybody's time. Didn't make anybody look good. Made everybody look bad, if you ask me. Austin Theory defeats Akira Tozawa in an 8-minute matchup, which was much better than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be quick and not given much time, but they gave this match enough time to actually become mildly interesting. Some really great spots by Tozawa, the one mildly racist comment by Jerry the King Lawler, and then the beatdown at the end by Team Vega. I don't know, they don't have no names, so I don't know what to call them just yet. Or AAA Vega Town. I don't know. We'll think of something eventually. But I thought this was a good segment. Just didn't appreciate them repeating it in the next segment to follow, which we're going to talk about. In between this, Charlie Caruso interviewed Rey Mysterio, who's talking about if he would have won in 2010 the Money in the Bank the first time and this and that, and he's going to be going up against Buddy Murphy in the tournament, and I don't know why. I feel like Buddy Murphy's being sacrificed. They're going to give this match to Rey Mysterio, if I know the WWE, where I would think it would be better to see Buddy Murphy. Here's another guy who's kind of built for a match just like that. He's young enough to go out there, take the abuse, and do some stuff. We don't need to see Rey Mysterio anymore at 40-plus years of age, going out there nearly killing himself in a Money in the Bank ladder match that nobody wants him to win anyway. We'd rather see it go to somebody new, maybe even somebody like a Buddy Murphy. I wouldn't mind seeing the Murph win one of these. But that's neither here nor there. He has respect for Buddy Murphy, but Buddy Murphy doesn't want it as badly as Mr. 619 does. Great. So Buddy Murphy's going to lose to Ray next week. That's what you're telling me. We go back to another Seth Rollins segment. I'm in my man bun and I'm mad. Everyone needs something to have faith in. I'm still here for you. Your Messiah has risen. Risen to what? The depths of the trash heap? Or the tip of the trash heap? From the depths of the garbage dump that is WWE? Angel Garza defeats Tahuti Miles. Let me say that again. Angel Garza defeats Tahuti Miles. This guy's name can't possibly be Tahuti, can it? Tahuti Fruity Miles. Tahuti? Now, if that's his real God-given name from his mother and father, I'm sure it has some sort of significant meaning. Maybe it was his grandpa's name. Maybe it's a meaningful name from where the guy comes from. And if that is the case, then God bless you for living an entire life with the name Tahuti. If that's not the case, and somebody in the back came up with this name Tahuti Miles, you would be fired. You would be fired if I was in charge. Hey, we got this guy. We got this local talent. He's coming in. What are we going to call him? Oh, we'll call him Tahuti. I'm sorry. God bless you. What did you just say, sir? What about Tahuti Miles? Did you say Tahuti? Yes, Tahuti. What? What? You smoking coconuts? What are you eating, palm trees? Oh, Tahuti? Tahuti Miles. Whew. So Angel Garza defeats Tahuti in Tahuti minutes flat. And then the whole gang comes out and they beat up Tahuti. the same way they beat up Akira Tozawa earlier. And that was it. Zelina Vega was out on commentary. She stands up on the desk all happy that her men are doing their thing and whatever. Nya Jax defeats Kyrie Sane in less than 3 minutes. Talk about a smack in the face. Kyrie Sane probably cannot wait for her contract to expire so she can jet back to NJPW with the quickness. She's probably not even going to look at AEW. She's probably going to go directly back home to New Japan and be like, I am done with the United States and their bullshit wrestling companies. And I wouldn't blame her one bit for doing so. But this match was ridiculous. I think she stopped using the Paige finisher because she was called out on it, even though Paige gave her permission, because she went back to using a Samoa drop, which they gave a name. They called it the Annihilator. It's supposed to make me give a shit because it definitely doesn't. It was a total squashing of one of the greatest women's wrestlers this world has ever seen. And it's unforgivable. And it's a clear indication that favoritism and nepotism rules all in the WWE. You think I'm lying? Let's go to the next segment, which sees Charlotte Flair come out and robot herself through a promo on Monday Night Raw. And the first question to ask is, why is her first appearance as NXT champion taking place on a Monday Night Raw? Should she not be showing up on NXT for the very first time, if anywhere, to rub it in everybody's faces, make her little challenge, tell everybody that she's better than them, talk about how Rhea Ripley wants to be her, focus her attack on Io Shirai since she won the opportunity to challenge for the championship next? I didn't care about any of this. I really, really didn't. It shouldn't have been happening on Monday Night Raw at all. Do we really need to see Charlotte more than once a week? No, we do not. We don't even want to barely be seeing her the one time a week that you force her down our throats as it is. My God. I don't care. Talking about not caring. The almighty milk dud, Bobby Lashley, returns to Monday Night Raw with his newly brunette bimbo Lana on his arm. And nobody cares about this either. He goes out there against no way, ho, say. This guy's got no power since he don't have his conga morons. You know, they got to stay 6 feet and do the conga. You can't do that. No Way Jose without the morons was much more actually enjoyable to me. I didn't ever really like seeing the giant hamburger and all the stupid retards outside of the thing. I didn't care. But No Way Jose was made to look like a chump again. This guy's not going anywhere anytime soon. He was sacrificed to Bobby Lashley in under 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops. I don't know. But despite Lashley getting all pissed off with Lana on multiple occasions and being distracted by his own ridiculous wife, he still ends up with the win in this scenario, spearing No Way Jose right out of his conga shoes. An excellent looking spear tonight from the almighty Milk Dud. I don't know where the hell he had that in him all this time, but I'm so tired of seeing spears at this point. Between Roman and Goldberg and Charlotte, and now Edge is back. Like, we don't all need to be doing spears as finishers. Do something else, mighty Milk Dud. Alright, but the one thing I did enjoy in this segment was Bobby Lashley's patience has worn thin with Lana. She's cost him a couple of scenarios in the past, and now he's trying to take control of his marriage. He's trying to take control of his woman, and he is demanding that she shut up during his matches, and I have to thank him for that. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby Lashley. It's the one gift you could have given me this Easter weekend that I could truly appreciate. Somebody needs to shut her up because, man, nobody wants to hear her. And while I don't understand what's going on with her actual real-life husband Rusev and his contract dispute and whether that's going to lead to Lana leaving at some point or no matter what, I just really don't care. And the best thing Bobby Lashley could do is distance himself from Lana and go and reset in a whole nother direction. Bobby Lashley coming out dressed in some new long pants. Guess he dropped the skivvies. He's going to try to change it up a little bit. So the next thing to do, besides putting on the pants, is drop the extra baggage. Maybe give somebody else a call to be your manager. Maybe an MVP. I think MVP would be a great manager. We don't want to see him in Money in the Bank ladder matches, qualifying matches against Apollo Crews. That's not what I need. I don't need Apollo Crews going out there getting an easy victory over a guy that shouldn't be even in the conversation when you're talking about contenders for the Money in the Bank. This guy came back, said his days in the ring are done, but apparently they're not. And he's going to go out there. Obviously, Apollo Crews is going to win. If he doesn't win, then Apollo Crews should just pack his bags and leave immediately. Don't even wait for your contract to expire. Just go home and stay home because, that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. And then just wait it out. Let your contract expire and go somewhere else. Do something else if you have to. Because this is not working out for you. If he loses to MVP next week, then I don't think there's any coming back for Apollo Crews. MVP should be managing guys like Bobby Lashley, guys like Ricochet and Cedric. That would be great. All three of them. MVP's faction. Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, and Ricochet. Do it. Nah, they won't do it. Now we have too many factions, right? We have all these groups. Too many factions. It'll work. Trust me. The Viking Raiders defeated Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, speaking of them, in about 15 minutes' time. An excellent tag team matchup between two babyface tag teams. Just didn't like the way the outcome turned out. I don't know why my PlayStation keeps beeping tonight. It's just beeping on its own. Maybe it's because Final Fantasy VII is calling me. It's in that machine and I've been playing it all week and it's amazing. There's a lot of problems I do have with the game, but at the end of the day, it's amazing. And you've heard it, right? You guys are hearing the beep, or is it just in my head? Maybe it's just in my head, but I can swear to God I hear the PlayStation beep. The game is calling me. So we got to wrap this up so I can go and further assist Cloud on his adventures. Plus, I didn't even watch Westworld yet. Oh my God, I got so much to do. And we're sitting here wasting our time talking about this garbage. Holy shit. Thank God we're down to the end of this thing. The Viking Raiders Cedric match, great match. Good time, good amount of time in the match, good moves. Just didn't like the fact that Ricochet and Cedric suffered another loss here. Maybe it would have been better to have a team come out and just attack, like you've been doing all night long. Why not make third time a charm and let Austin Theory and Angel Garza come out there and beat the hell out of everybody and make the match have no winner so nobody has to suffer a loss. Even though Cedric and Ricochet looked great in this loss, I don't like the fact that they're losing already. Charlie Caruso interviewed the Street Profits, who introduced us to Bianca Belair, who's awesome and who shouldn't be being brought up to Monday Night Raw to be the talking piece or managerial piece of the Street Profits. She should be contending in the Money in the Bank qualifiers, if you ask me. She should be in there, not Nia Jax. Whatever. It is what it is. And it was weird because, the Street Profits were doing their Street Profit thing, and then Bianca was like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? And she was kind of acting like me. She was saying to them what I would have said to them and be like, you guys want to sit here and play games and have a good time? That's all well and good, but when was the last time you guys even beat those guys? You want to talk about having respect for the Viking Raiders and all Vikings everywhere, and she just really got on them about it. She said that they always got their asses whooped by the Viking Raiders and told them to focus up and get that smoke. This is maybe what the Street Profits need. It's not necessarily a heel turn, but they need somebody to snap them out of this stupid, I'm a clown gimmick that the WWE made them do. It's all right to have a good time, but it's time to get to business. I like it. I like that. I just hope that she's not relegated to manager and they don't allow her to get in the ring and do her thing, because it's definitely needed. And the fact that she's not in even contention for the women's Money in the Bank qualifiers is already a solid mistake. And then we finished off the night. Drew McIntyre defeated U.S. champion Andrade. And while I said I appreciate them booking this match, and I don't mind this match happening, it should have been booked better and for a long-term story, and not just a one-off for one night on Monday Night Raw. The biggest thing wrong with this match, considering how much time was given to so many other matches, to only allow these two guys 5 minutes to close and actually have a finish in this non-title matchup. It's not like they went 5 minutes and it was, ruined by somebody coming out and interfering. They finished the match in 5 minutes. Drew McIntyre, I understand this is the guy that beat Brock Lesnar. I understand this is the guy that beat the Big Flow on the same night, only 20 minutes after going head-to-head with Brock Lesnar. I get that. But I've also seen Drew McIntyre go nearly a half an hour with a guy like Andrade in NXT when a championship was on the line. Now you want me to sit here and watch a 5-minute long matchup between two guys that easily should have been given 20 minutes to close the show. Give Drew McIntyre a showcase to show the world what he's all about. It's not just about beating big guys. Sometimes the little guys are the real threat. And Andrade and him have fantastic chemistry. And they did them no justice by giving them a 5-minute match. And instead of using this as a stepping stone forward in a program for Drew and Andrade to continue down the line, at the end of this match, Seth Rollins' music hit, which again, this was completely wrong. Whoever does these portions of the show, when you have a guy running out that's supposed to be giving an unexpected attack, the dumbest thing you could do is play his music before he runs to the ring. It's just dumb. Drew McIntyre is laying in the middle of the ring after picking up the victory. Seth Rollins' music hits. So now immediately he should be like, oh, what's up? Where's Seth Rollins coming from? But no, he still gets caught from behind by Seth Rollins because Drew McIntyre was distracted with a chop by Angel Garza. Even though he heard the music hit and he was being beaten down by Zelina Vega's boys. It was crazy. It was crazy. Seth Rollins slid into the ring. He super kicked Drew McIntyre and then hit him with the stomp twice as Monday Night Raw went off the air. Seth Rollins is making a claim for the championship. We're going to be seeing Drew versus Seth going forward. It's probably going to happen at Money in the Bank. And boy, I'm already not really that excited about it. And Drew McIntyre deserves better than fighting a guy that's essentially a loser, who's done nothing to earn this championship opportunity, got his ass handed to him by Kevin Owens, and we're going to reward him with a championship opportunity. I don't see the logic there. I don't see the logic in the way they booked the women tonight. The 3 women to advance. Osku, Nya Jax, and Shayna Baszler. Talk about predictable, with the exception of Nia Jax. I mean, you all knew she was going to win, right? But I didn't want it to win. I wanted Kyrie to win, but we all knew. We all knew. Then we got the announcement of the matches for the guys next week. As we already mentioned, Apollo Crews versus MVP. Alistair Black versus Austin Theory. Going to probably be a fantastic match. And then Rey Mysterio is going to go up against Buddy Murphy. 3 very predictable outcomes, again, with one exception where maybe they'll go with Buddy Murphy, but I have a feeling that Rey Mysterio is going to end up winning that matchup. And then by this time next week, we will all already know pretty much the entire field for Money in the Bank and what they are going to do for the next 3 weeks after that to keep us interested in this pay-per-view. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there'll be a miracle and everything will be able to go back to normal by then, but that doesn't seem to be the case, at least not here in good old New York City. That's it. That's all I got. Monday Night Raw was, okay at times, but regardless, I can't give them credit for trying when they try and fail way too often. There's just no excuse. Sure, you gave me qualifying matches, but you've given to them all in one night and all for the one match. So now the entire field on Raw is set for the women, and it's just like you had weeks to build. Do one match a week for both brands. leading into the Money in the Bank. It's almost too easy. It's right there for you. Absolutely ridiculous. So that's it. Let's stop talking about this shit. I gotta go play me some Final Fantasy or watch Westworld. I'll make that decision after we close out. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you guys, my loyal Sledgeheads. If you are not already a Sledgehead, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button right now and join the nearly 2.5K that know when you want your wrestling news full of fun and honesty, that Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. Don't forget to smash that like button if you had a good time, if I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why Monday Night Raw is a giant piece of trash. Hit that like button right now, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to be told why Monday Night Raw is a huge, giant, steaming piece of trash. And then, when you're done having fun here, don't forget to check out everything else I got for you guys in the annotations up above. For the SmackDown review, we put up a poll. We put up a poll on this channel, and we had some subscriber comments, and we went over some of that. So maybe you want to check that out. We got some interaction with the fans. If you guys like that, let me know. Maybe we could do that again. But that was on the SmackDown review. You could see that in the annotations up above. Plus our whole entire coverage of WrestleMania weekend, PC Mania, which, again, at times was okay. But for the most part, without the fans, these shows just bore the shit out of me. No matter how good they are. I will give them credit when they give me a good match, and there were a couple of good matches on this night, but at the end of the day, without that interaction, without that buzz of the crowd, without the people there to give a sense of feeling or a sense of reason, there's a reason why these matches are going down. All these people are there to watch it. You know, like two people fighting without anybody watching is just two guys fighting, and it doesn't mean anything. There's nothing to it. You guys know where I'm coming from, but that is it. Thank you guys again for your continued love and support of this channel. I would not be doing any of this here without you. Thank you for your participation in the poll with the question this weekend, and maybe we'll be doing more of that. I love each and every one of you guys. Hope you all had a happy Easter. Stay safe. Stay safe out there. Stay 6 feet apart. Stay clean. I don't need none of my sledge heads going down with this silly and unfortunate thing that's been going around. So that, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.